Every year, Africa loses forests the size of Switzerland, even as billions are spent planting new trees, and more than 80% of those seedlings die before they mature. But against all logic, farmers are restoring entire forests without planting a single tree, using a method that almost no one believed would work. If so much money and effort has failed, how are these forgotten roots transforming landscapes and lives? The answer challenges everything we think we know about reversing desertification. Across Africa, forests are vanishing at a rate unmatched anywhere else on Earth. Each year, 3.9 million hectares disappear, an area equal to Switzerland erased from the map. In Tanzania alone, nearly 500,000 hectares are lost annually, driven by the demand for farmland, charcoal, and timber. Satellite images reveal the steady advance of deserts, swallowing once productive fields and pushing deeper into rural communities. In the Sahel, dry winds sweep over land stripped of trees, leaving behind dust and brittle soil. The crisis is not confined to a single region. It stretches from Senegal's Atlantic coast to the plains of Ethiopia, affecting millions who depend on these landscapes for food and water. Nearly 41% of the world's land is now classified as dry land, or at risk of turning to desert, putting more than 2 billion people in jeopardy. As forests retreat, rainfall becomes less reliable. Wells run dry, crops fail, families are forced to abandon their homes in search of better land. The pace of destruction has outstripped every conventional solution. In the face of such overwhelming loss, the search for quick fixes has become urgent, and the pressure to reverse the trend grows with every passing year. Governments and international donors poured billions of dollars into ambitious tree planting campaigns across Africa's drylands. The logic seemed sound. Plant enough trees and the desert would retreat. Yet the reality on the ground told a different story. In Niger, Tanzania, and across the Sahel, newly planted seedlings faced relentless heat, poor soil, and unpredictable rainfall. Most projects could not afford the years of watering, fencing, and protection needed for young trees to survive. Reports from the World Bank and major non-governmental organizations found that over 80% of seedlings died within the first few years, sometimes even more. Fields that had been covered with tiny green saplings at the start of the rainy season were bare again by the next. The cost of these efforts was staggering. Conventional planting schemes routinely spent hundreds of dollars per hectare, money that vanished as one failed project followed another. Even high-profile campaigns with celebrity endorsements and international backing struggled to keep seedlings alive. In many cases, tree planting became a cycle of hope and disappointment, with little to show for the investment except empty fields and frustrated communities. The promise of reversing desertification through mass planting faded as failure rates climbed and budgets ballooned. For many on the ground, it became clear that planting trees in these harsh climates was not just difficult, it was in most cases unsustainable. Tony Ronaldo spent years in Niger, watching seedling after seedling wither under the desert sun. Each failed planting drove home the same bleak reality. Nothing seemed to survive. One afternoon in the early 1980s, as he drove across a scorched plateau near Kananfa, a patch of green caught his eye. What looked like a scrappy bush stood alone in a field of dust. Tony stopped, curious. He knelt beside it, tracing the shoots down to the soil. There, hidden beneath the surface, was a thick stump, evidence of a tree that had once stood tall, its roots still alive and pushing up new growth. That moment was a discovery. The discovery rewrote everything he thought he knew about the land. The problem was not the absence of trees, but the way their regrowth had been overlooked and repeatedly cut down. Decades earlier, colonial authorities had cleared vast tracts of woodland for plantations and fuel, leaving behind stumps and root systems buried out of sight. Farmers, needing space for crops, had kept slicing away at anything that sprouted. Yet, underground, the forest had never truly died. As Tony looked out over the fields, he realized he was surrounded by a hidden network of living roots, each one capable of sending up new shoots if only given the chance. The solution was not to plant more trees, but to recognize and protect the ones already fighting to return. In that instant, the landscape shifted from hopeless to full of possibility, a quiet forest waiting for permission to grow. That shift felt like possibility. Farmer-managed natural regeneration, known as FMNR, relies on a simple biological truth hidden just beneath the surface. When a tree is cut down, its roots often remain alive underground. These roots, sometimes decades old, are packed with stored energy and ready to send up new shoots. But there is a catch. In a living tree, the main stem produces a hormone called auxin. Auxin travels down from the tip and keeps other buds in check, focusing the tree's energy into a single trunk. When the tree is cut, auxin production drops, and dozens of buds along the stump and roots burst into action, sending up a tangle of shoots. This is why so many fields across Africa are dotted with scruffy bushes, each one a tree trying to make a comeback, only to be cut again and again. FMNR turns this process on its head by working with nature, not against it. Farmers walk their fields and pick out the stumps with living shoots. From each stump, they choose one or two of the strongest, straightest shoots and prune away the rest. The selected shoots get all the energy from the established root system, so they grow fast and tall. Regular pruning, once or twice a year, keeps unwanted growth in check and shapes the new tree. There is no need for nurseries, plastic bags, or watering cans. The forest is already underground, waiting to be managed. The results are striking. In the first year, managed stumps send up strong vertical growth. By year 3, young trees provide real shade and start to stabilize the soil. By year 5, a full canopy can close over fields that were once bare. In these harsh climates, planted seedlings might take 15 to 20 years to reach the same size if they survive at all. FMNR lets farmers grow a working forest in under a decade, with nothing more than a sharp blade and a little know-how. In Niger, what began as a handful of farmers pruning old stumps has grown into a national phenomenon. Over 5 million hectares, an area larger than Costa Rica, now support a thriving canopy of regenerated trees. Satellite images from the U.S. Geological Survey reveal a dramatic transformation. Fields once stripped bare now shimmer with green. Where there were only scattered bushes, more than 200 million trees have returned, each one counted not as a seedling planted, but as a survivor, brought back from the roots. Farmers across the Maradi and Zinder regions report their millet and sorghum harvests doubling, sometimes tripling, as shade and leaf litter restore fertility to the soil. The evidence is visible from space and tangible in every harvest. What was once a story of decline has become a model for hope, led not by outsiders, but by the hands of local champions. In Tanzania's Dodoma region, a quiet revolution is underway. Samuel Msanjila and the Lead Foundation have guided farmers to revive more than 500,000 hectares using Kisiki Hai, which in Swahili means living stump. This approach skips seedlings entirely. Instead, farmers select and nurture shoots from hidden root systems beneath their fields. The results ripple far beyond Tanzania. Across Africa, more than 18 million hectares have been restored by managing natural regrowth, not by planting new trees. The cost is almost negligible, often less than $20 per hectare. There is no need for expensive nurseries or years of irrigation. With only basic knowledge and a sharp blade, farmers transform barren land into working forests. The ecological payoffs are immediate. Restored shade, richer soil, and steadier rainfall follow quickly. As word spreads, champion farmers train neighbors, and the movement gathers speed. What began as a local experiment now offers a scalable, affordable answer for landscapes across the continent. Right now, more than 18 million hectares are regreening, not through outside intervention, but by trusting nature's own resilience. As climate threats accelerate, this approach proves that restoration does not always require new beginnings. Sometimes it means recognizing what survives beneath the surface. The next forest may already be waiting,